Any conversation about the greatest NL starting pitchers is going to come down to two men, Christy Mathewson and Grover Cleveland Alexander. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean they were the greatest at any given time. We could talk about peak value and career value some other time. But as careers go, these two were by far the winningest starters who ever toed an NL rubber. The frustrating thing about a question like this is just how similar these two men were. In the modern age, a stat like wins isn't considered as important as it once was. But when you win 373 games over your career, you're doing something right, and both these guys did it. Their ERAs are about half a run apart, but Matty had the luxury of pitching his entire career in the dead ball era. Pete Alexander pitched with a livelier baseball after age 33, so we'd expect the difference in ERAs. Besides the identical win total, what sticks out are their ERA+. You're probably familiar with most modern stats if you're watching this, but in case you're not, I'll explain them briefly. ERA Plus shows the percentage of pitcher's ERA was either better or worse than the league he pitched in. So Matty and Alex, both being about 35% better than their league over exceptionally long careers, is also pretty amazing. Ready for more similarities? Both were extreme control pitchers. And yes, both pitchers only walked 0.18 batters per inning pitched. Matty struck out a few more, Pete had a few more shutouts. Both won 30 games multiple times and in the high 20s often. Both were used in relief fairly often, with Alex getting 32 saves and Matty 30. So what's the difference? How can we claim one as the greatest starter in National League history? We're going to have to look beyond the personal stats. Like who they played for and who they played with. Obviously, Mathewson played on more winning teams, but it's not as lopsided as you might think. In 17 full seasons with the Giants, Mathewson's teams averaged a winning percentage of .571. He appeared in 4 World Series and won just the one in 1905. Pete played longer, well into his 40s, and won 21 games for the Cardinals in 1927 at the age of 40. In 20 seasons with the Phillies, Cubs, and Cardinals, his teams had a winning percentage of .539. He pitched in 3 World Series and also won only one. Of course, having one of these two stalwarts on your team would make any team far better, but Matty did have one true advantage. It was the 8 guys behind him. The lineups that backed Mathewson were consistently better than Alexander's. Surprisingly, neither pitched in front of many Hall of Famers. Old Matty had Bresnahan and George Davis for a short while, and old Pete played with some when he got to the Cardinals late in his career, but neither one was being backed by DiMaggio or Williams every day. The bottom line is, John McGraw filled his lineup with better ball players. They were fast, smart players, usually with good gloves. They knew how to bunt, and they ran the bases aggressively. While Sam Mertz, Art Devlin, and Larry Doyle might not be household names, they were very good ball players. Until he got to the Cardinals at age 39, the only really special player Alex had backing him consistently was Gabby Cravath, who was one of the better power hitters of his generation. In addition, the pitching staffs behind Mathewson were of generally better quality, so late in games McGraw could turn to a Joe McGinnity, Jeff Tesreau, or Rube Marquard in addition to Matty. Alex pitched alongside some decent hurlers, but was really the bell cow on both the Phils and the Cubs. In reality, the biggest differences you'll find in these two monumental careers is in the productivity after age 33 and when those careers ended. Matty never pitched a game after the age of 35. He was traded to the Reds, where he pitched briefly and then retired to manage. Alex was still pitching in the majors at age 43, and as you can see, their win totals late in their pitching days are not even close. So after all that, here's my take. Handsome, articulate Christy Mathewson dominated the National League mostly in his 20s. He earned fame and the praise of baseball writers playing in the Big Apple, where he was seen by far more fans and written about by far more scribes than any player before Babe Ruth. Modern fans can't really comprehend what an icon he was in his day. But gruff, unsophisticated Grover Cleveland Alexander was dominant as well, and he simply did not have the many advantages that Matty had. He played on more weak teams, he did not play for John McGraw, and he played half his career in an era when the 3-run home run was a common occurrence instead of a rarity. he was still a major factor on pennant-winning teams at an age when Mathewson had long hung them up. In addition, Matty had already retired when both he and Alex went to France with the American Expeditionary Force. That happened in 1918, making Alex miss almost all of his age 31 season. So while it's very close, I personally have to give the crown to Pete Alexander, and that's hard because I'm a huge fan of Old Big Six. Now it's your turn. Let me know where I'm wrong in the comments, and back your opinions up. Hopefully it will make us all think it over again, and again. Thanks for watching. I'll be posting more, and if you have a subject you'd like me to focus on, please leave it in the comments. I'm still new at this, so I'll make every effort to improve the quality and production values as I go. Take care.